Hey guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another modern magazine thing. Because this time we're going to be looking at Dungeons & Dragons Adventurer issue number 44. Yes, I've managed to get 4 issues in a row. I think I've actually mastered exactly when it arrives in the shop and when I should go in to grab it before anybody else does. Which wasn't helped this week because half of my town's been shut down with roadworks. The town is split by a river and there's 2 bridges across it, and one of them's actually completely closed off for the next 3 weeks. Which means that all deliveries and everything across the town have been held up as all the traffic gets channeled across one single small bridge. But anyway, I managed to get it. So let's have a look at Dungeons & Dragons Adventurer issue number 44. So, this is Dungeons & Dragons Adventurer issue number 44. Now I'll throw the plastic bag to the side as usual. We've got the magazine and we've got our gift with this one, which is another tin of dice. The standard D&D Adventurer tin, and inside it is some purple dice. But I find these kind of weird. Oh, actually, they're slightly different to what I thought. Now, from the outside, I thought they were just more purple dice, like we got a couple of issues ago. But that issue, they were purple dice with black text on them. And I commented at the time that that made them pretty hard to read. It wasn't a great idea, and a bunch of people agreed with me in the comments in that video. So I saw purple dice this time, but with white text. But these are sort of semi-transparent, or at least some of them seem to be. That one's not much. This one kind of is. I'm not sure I quite like them. I think I would have probably preferred them to be solid, because I can't even tell that that one's... I suppose there's a slightly pearlescent effect to it. I can definitely see this one's got transparency to it. But the D20 doesn't seem to be any different from any standard. What's the D? The D12 you can definitely see. Let's grab the D4 out. That's... yeah, it's got some reflective speckles in it as well. Okay, I thought they were just purple dice from the outside. It's the first time I've actually taken them out of the tin. They're all right. They're definitely not my favourites. They're absolutely fine. Some more dice. Are we up to over 300 dice if we've been buying every issue yet? I'm relying on other people to keep track of that for me. But another tin of dice. I really wish they'd think of something else to give us. And the magazine itself. New and exclusive adventure. Domain of Darkness, Shadowfell. The Wizard Order of Scribes, twists and turns, plot points, add classic puzzles to your adventures. So once again, we seem to be getting a focus on the Games Master, which is really nice. I've been very positive about that. And from my read through of this, they once again seem to be going in that direction. Very, very nice stuff. Games Masters need all the support they can get. Inside, got a contents page saying that sage advice for the DM, we've got puzzles part 2 and plot points. Character creation, we've got combat feats, wizard arcane traditions, order of the scribes, cleric other domains, and the monk other monastic orders. Locations, the Shadowfell, and then we've got the adventure, which for some reason it doesn't mention in the table of contents. Oh yes, it does, there. Why is it detailing the back pages first? Adventure 44, Tomb of the Sun King, part 1. So, first up, we've got Puzzles Part 2, a further look at puzzles to challenge players how to find them, run them, and most of all, solve them. Now, one of the sections I really like in this, it's saying finding inspiration and read lots of pre-written adventures and steal. And then it's like puzzles renewed and revisited. And I've got a section on the Tomb of Horrors. This dungeon's most famous trap starts with a large stone devil face at the end of the corridor. Anyone who entered its howling mouth was instantly vaporized. No saving throws, no damage, just dead. The solution to that puzzle was poking a 10-foot pole into the mouth and realizing you should just look for another way round. Since you're not running a death trap dungeon like Tomb of Horrors, consider an approach less likely to make your players hate you. It accepts that the Tomb of Horrors will make you players hate you. It's not a great adventure. While it can be fun, as long as everybody knows that your character's probably going to die, because that's its purpose, to kill players. Anyway, we've got White Plume Mountain, the Red Idol, different ideas from different adventures, challenge of metagaming, how to balance out a smart player playing a low intelligence character like a barbarian, or playing a hyper intelligent character, a wizard with a very high intelligence rating, should get bonuses to get clues. And what it's saying, you should allow intelligence rolls. And it's got more inspirations, The Goonies, Die Hard, The Hobbit, Fellowship of the Ring, Raiders of the Lost Ark, etc. And then we've got plot points, which is a really interesting idea. I don't know whether it's in the Dungeon Master's Guide, but it's giving out plot points to your players and allowing them to change up the adventure slightly, which seems like a very modern concept for Dungeons & Dragons. It's possible it's in the DMG as a optional thing. I don't own the 5th edition Dungeon Master's Guide, so I have no idea. But plot points are a currency that players can spend to influence the story of a campaign more heavily and directly. They can spend their plot points to add a significant detail to a certain situation or setting. For example, they could establish that a particular magic item contains a trap soul to a loved one they presume dead, or an NPC ally suddenly arrives on the scene at a crucial moment, or the city wall has a secret entrance. The plot thickens. The gods must be crazy. It sort of mentions that to add in twists, the player comes up with the idea, but then the next player along, I don't remember whether it says left or right, doesn't matter, one of the players to the side of them gets to introduce a twist to make it slightly different. Talks about every player starting with one plot point that they can spend at any time. Really interesting stuff. As I said, feels very modern compared to most Dungeons & Dragons. Surprised me that it was in here. Fantastic stuff. Combat feats, part 4. So we've got a few more combat feats, weapon-based feats, Piercer, Crusher, Slasher, Inspiring Leader. Just some more feats to introduce. Wizard Arcane Traditions, the Order of the Scribes, showing a Kenku Wizard. Wizardly Quill, Awakened Spellbook. And then we've got Clerics, Other Domains. Take charge from the Ceremony Society, from laws and treaties to the funereal rites of death. Order domain benefits, grave domain benefits, peace domain benefits, and inspirations. And then we've got the monk, other monastic orders. So just Way of the Sun, Way of Mercy, Way of the Astral Self, role-playing these traditions, inspirations, and different ideas for higher levels. And then we've got the Shadowfell. Discover a shadowy realm filmed with undead, where the sun and stars never shine. Creatures encounters, shadow crossings, the domains of dread. And then we've got the adventure in the Sidu. An encounter once again, the Tomb of the Sun King Part 1. So they have been sent many encounters ago to get a weapon from the realm of a dead dwarf king. A hammer, I believe it is. And they have travelled through all the other encounters, and now they've finally reached the tomb. However, the dwarf king was friends with a dragon, which is now protecting it. So we've got the Dragon's Lair. Players are about to experience something epic, their first fight with the dragon. In this encounter, the odds are stacked in Galvixor's favour, so he's likely to defeat the party if they fight him. Deeper in the dungeon, they'll uncover the means to strike back and slay him. Got beginning the encounter, we've got level 1 of it, laying out the different rooms. So we've got the keep features, talking about what in general it's like, and then descriptions of the different areas. So the keep entrance, D1, King's Guard, some undead, or rather dwarf skeletons, the Radiant Fountain, Ruined Chambers, Stare Down, and then Galvixor approaches. When he arrives, and if he attacks, his tactics that he'll use. He weaves in and out of shadows. He fight like an apex predator. Focus all of his attacks on a single character until they fall unconscious. Then switches attacking the next closest conscious character. Which is kind of nasty to have a dragon just focus on one person, but makes sense. It's sensible tactics. We've got stuff like reasoning with him. Clues how to use a dragon. Galvixor can fly. When in dim light or darkness, he has resistance to all damage that isn't force, psychic, or radiant. In dim light or darkness, he can take the hide action as a bonus action. So he's going to be sneaky, he's going to be resistant to damage, he's going to be wanting to keep to the shadows, keeping high up in the caves away from the players. It's all good tactics to teach players about a dragon, rather than just having it as a big monster that they wander up to, they all hack at it, it does massive attacks back. It's actually using its flight ability, it's using its different abilities as methods to kill the players. Anyway, we've got some stat blocks here. Shadows with their abilities. Gal Vixor, a large dragon, chaotic evil. 119 hit points, armor class 17, so he's pretty tough, especially with all his extra abilities. And then on the back cover, we've got these stats for the dwarf skeletons. So undead dwarves, which I like, because skeletons and ghosts and all things tend to just be humans. So it's nice to get some meta-human, I'm using Shadowrun terms, demi-human, that's the Dungeons & Dragons one, versions of undead. No reason there shouldn't be a elf lich, or dwarf skeletons, or halfling mummies. Dragonborn ghosts? I don't know whether they'd be any different to normal ghosts. But anyway, it's nice to get some stuff to flesh it out. Makes the world seem more interesting. So that's the magazine. Some great stuff for Dungeon Masters in there. Some really interesting stuff which seems surprisingly modern for Dungeons & Dragons. Obviously, we're coming up to the release of the new Player's Handbook and DMG, so perhaps they're getting some interesting stuff from the development of that. But as I said, I don't have the 5th edition Dungeon Master's Guide to be able to have a look and see. And some dice which aren't that great, but they're in a tin. I think I'll probably put nicer dice in the tin, probably these sparkly ones from last time. So that was Dungeons & Dragons Adventure issue number 44, and there's a lot of nice stuff in there. And as I've said across the last few issues, the focus seems to be more and more on Games Masters, which I think is absolutely fabulous. Because when you're starting off in role-playing, the Games Master's the hardest job, because you've not been a player to see what Games Mastering's like. So you're picking up everything from whatever hints you can get. So this magazine being a source of hints and ideas, teaching Games Masters what they need to know to run successful games is absolutely fabulous. And as I said, there's some pretty progressive ideas in there, stuff which I don't think was being thought of when the 5th edition Dungeon Master's Guide came out way back in, what was it, 2012? So I wonder if this is from there. Was it as forward-thinking as it appears to be? Or are these new ideas that are putting in to help new Games Masters? Absolutely brilliant stuff. And the adventure's not bad. There's a bunch of stuff on role-playing, especially role-playing the dragon, and especially using its tactics and its abilities, really teaching that fights shouldn't just be a monster against some players, they roll dice and hit each other. There should be more to it. The dragon should be soaring around, it should be using its abilities, it should be hiding from them, it should be sniping at them because it's got ranged abilities. Brilliant stuff to teach young Games Masters what to do. I highly recommend this issue, and long may it continue in this direction. But anyway, as usual, I think I've been wittering on for long enough as usual. So thank you very much for watching. As always, most of all, you look after yourselves. And I'll catch you later. Bye now.